In the world of business, knowledge isn't just power, it's your unfair advantage. This is Momentum, your deep dive into the books that shape the world's most successful leaders. Let's begin.
Have you ever walked into a high-stakes meeting armed with the perfect proposal and flawless data, only to have the entire deal collapse in minutes because someone across the table made a move you never saw coming?
It's that sinking feeling in your gut. You did the work, you had the logic, but somehow you were playing a different game than everyone else in the room. You're not alone. Most ambitious professionals approach their careers like they're solving a solo puzzle. They focus on their own moves, their own goals, and their own performance.
But here's the startling reality. In the real world, your success isn't just determined by your actions, it's determined by the interaction of your actions with the actions of others. Whether you're negotiating a raise, launching a product, or trying to get your kids to eat their vegetables, you are in a state of strategic interdependence.
If you feel like you're constantly reacting to the world instead of shaping it, it's because you're missing the hidden logic of the game. You're playing checkers, while the people winning are playing a high-level game of mental chess. You're working hard, but you aren't thinking strategically. But what if there was a different way to think about this? What if you could anticipate your competitor's next move before they even thought of it? This is the core question explored in the legendary business classic, Thinking Strategically, The Competitive Edge in Business, Politics, and Everyday Life by Avinash, Dixit, and Nalebuff. Dixit and Nalebuff are the masters of game theory, and they wrote this book to take that complex mathematical science out of the ivory tower and put it directly into your hands. The single most important, game-changing idea in this book is a framework they call look forward and reason backward. Most people think linearly. They think, if I do A, then B will happen. But in the strategic environment, that's a recipe for disaster. Strategic thinking requires you to look to the very end of the game, the final outcome, and work your way back to the present moment to decide what to do right now. Think about it like a professional tennis match. If you're at the net, you don't just hit the ball where it's easiest for you. You look at where your opponent is standing, you anticipate where they are going to run, and you hit the ball to the spot where they won't be. You're essentially reasoning backward from their future position to determine your current swing.
There's a classic story in the book that illustrates this perfectly, and it involves a high-stakes take-it-or-leave-it negotiation. Imagine two companies. Let's call them Alpha and Beta. Alpha wants to buy out Beta. Alpha knows that if they offer $100 million, the deal is a steal for them, but they also know Beta is savvy.
Now, the average manager at Alpha thinks, I'll start with a lowball offer of $60 million and see what happens. That's linear thinking, but a strategic thinker at Alpha uses look forward and reason backward. They ask, if I offer $60 million, what is Beta's best response? They realize Beta will see the lowball offer as a sign of weakness or an insult, causing them to walk away or stall, which costs Alpha $10 million a month in lost synergy.
By reasoning backward from that failed outcome, Alpha realizes that a cheap opening move is actually the most expensive move they can make. Instead, they look at the end game, a signed contract in 30 days. To get there, they realize they need to offer $85 million immediately with an exploding deadline. By anticipating Beta's reaction to the deadline, Alpha secures the deal faster and cheaper than if they had haggled for 6 months.
This isn't just about business deals. It's about understanding that your best move depends entirely on what the other person thinks your best move is. You have to get inside their head. You have to see the world through their eyes, calculate their incentives, and then, and only then, decide your own path. It's the difference between being a passenger in your career and being the driver. When you master the art of looking forward and reasoning backward, you stop being surprised. You start seeing the inevitable moves of your rivals as opportunities rather than obstacles. You become the person who is always 2 steps ahead because you've already played out the entire game in your mind before the first move was ever made. Now, this core idea of looking forward and reasoning backward is a massive game changer for how you approach your daily decisions, but it's really just the starting point. Dixit and Nalebuff go so much deeper into the mechanics of how the world actually works.
Exactly. We've only scratched the surface of what it takes to gain a true competitive edge. This core concept is the foundation, but the real power lies in the execution. How do you handle a situation where you can't trust the other person? How do you make a threat or a promise that people actually believe? In our full 18-minute deep dive of Thinking Strategically on the premium version of Momentum, we break down the high-level tactics that Dixit and Nalebuff call strategic moves. We'll explore the prisoner's dilemma, and more importantly, the specific 3-step framework for how to escape it so you don't get trapped in a race to the bottom with your competitors. We also dive into the concept of brinkmanship, the art of taking a situation to the very edge of disaster to get what you want, and the one common mistake most professionals make that turns a calculated risk into a total catastrophe. Plus, we'll break down the tale of the burning bridge, a powerful strategy for making your commitments credible by intentionally limiting your own options. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's one of the most effective ways to win a negotiation before it even starts. If you're ready to stop guessing and start outmaneuvering the competition, you need the full playbook. These are the details that separate pure theory from real-world high-impact results. Don't leave your next big move to chance. Join us for the full breakdown and learn how to turn the logic of game theory into your ultimate professional advantage. We'll see you in the premium deep dive.